in a small town called Linköping, a bit south of Stockholm. We're gonna meet Nervosa, yeah! And they are playing here tonight. So I'm really excited to meet Prika and the gang, to see the gig and to hear what they have to say about extreme metal music. Yeah! Welcome Nervosa!
Hello! Hello, thank you.
Welcome to Sweden.
Thank you very much.
Nice.
First time here?
For me, it's the first time here.
For me, it's the second.
Alright.
For me, I lost the count. Yeah, I've been home many times also.
Can you please just short introduce yourselves and tell us a bit short about yourself?
Okay, I'm Helena. I'm the guitarist of Nervosa. We started working together with Prika about 2 years ago, and now it's the time to, show everybody what we've been working on, and it's the first show here, so it's amazingly excited. I'm beyond excited.
Cool.
Nice. I'm Prika the guitarist of Nervosa for 13 years. Now it's my first time as a singer, so I start to sing it right now. It's something new for me, so here I am.
And I am Hellpire. I am the bass player. Also, first time with Nervosa, first live show with this lineup, and also very excited for this.
My name is Michaela, and I'm the newest member of Nervosa. Just joined a couple of months ago, so a lot of first times again. New lineup, first gig abroad actually. So it's very cool.
Yeah, and it sounded awesome, so I'm very excited to see your gig later.
Nice.
So, Prika, you are the manager of the band, right? You are the one who founded
Yes.
Nervosa.
So I started the band in 2010, and since then I founded the band with the first drummer that she left the Nervosa after our first demo. And then another drummer joined Nervosa after 2 years. She left because the tours was not what she was expecting. And then another drum comes that she left because she wants to play death metal. And Nervosa it's a thrash metal with the influence of death metal. So the singer always goes with her to play death metal and more extreme music. And then we changed the lineup for new girls during the pandemic situation, that I didn't have opportunity to meet them in person, and it was something new for all of us in a very hard situation to deal with the pandemics and everything. And after many tours and everything super intense, the girls didn't have experience before. And so they realized that this is not exactly what they want, not so intense. And of course the drummer left because of health reasons, because she has very health problems, yes, with the health. And the singer left because she wants to dedicate herself for another project, and she don't have time with Nervosa, because Nervosa is a very intense band that works a lot, that plays a lot, so it's something normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a very international band with members from Brazil, like you, Prika, and Bulgaria and Greece. And how do you handle this with the band?
All the girls actually, after the first lineup in the beginning 2010, after there, all of the girls I found it on internet. It's everybody's exposing themselves with the videos, with their jobs. So then I can see, and contact all of them.
And do audition
Yes.
online and stuff
Yes.
like that. Yeah, cool. But is it hard, to when you compose the music and everything, to be in different locations, or how does that work?
No, for us worked
went
very
good.
well. Yeah.
Obviously.
It went
Yeah, but
Yeah.
look, half of the album we did it in person. I came to her house in Greece and we composed together in person. And I miss that a lot, because I can do with the distance, but I prefer doing in person. I
And
think
also we meet for rehearsals in person.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
don't do it via internet.
Yes.
All these things we are gathered always all together, even for composing or rehearsing.
Yeah.
It's everything in person.
Yeah.
Only the first, meeting is through internet.
The
Yeah.
video clip was in person. It's not green screen.
Yeah, exactly. Good to clarify this.
Something like that.
It would be a good job green screen if it was, It would be really good.
No, yes.
But how was it to learn all the new music, Michaela? You being a new drummer in the band.
So I recorded the new music. It was difficult because we had a very short period of time to do this, but I was free, I had the energy, I had the capacity, so we did it, and now I had to learn their old songs for this tour and for the next, obviously, so it's fun. I'm having fun, actually, so it's very good.
That's how it should be, yeah. So, okay, so how you're touring a little bit right now. I mean, you said Nervosa is an intense band. Is that because it's hard to play in Brazil? Or how is the metal scene in Brazil?
Look, Brazil is a poor country for one side, very rich for another side. You can have like the two differences very high, you know, like the misery and the richest, like in everywhere. But Brazil is a huge country. It's like a continent. It's like entire Europe without Russia, you know, like it's huge. So all the distance is like a 3-4 hours flighting, wherever you are going. So we have this kind of difficulties, more about money. So we have a very like strong metal scene, but it's very hard to live from music in general. And for metal it's even harder. And our label is from Europe.
Okay.
So we have like a good opportunities to play in big festivals in summer, example. So the structure here is even better. You know, all the countries are rich country, has a good structure, and the people can support the bands because they have money. In Brazil, the people want to support, but they have to choose like one show per month to go. And example, the prices of the tickets, it's like a 10-20 times more than here. A show that you can, example, let's say normal bands, like medium bands, you can watch it for 20-30 euros. But in Brazil, it's like 100-200 euros for us. In our reality, the minimum salary, it's like half over here or even less. So for our reality, this is insane. The people paid like per month in many parcels, you know. So the reality is totally different. So we cannot make so much happen.
No.
So Europe has more structure for that.
Okay,
like a US example.
Yeah. So, but how does it work when you're on tour? Do you have families and stuff like back home? I mean, children or anything? Yeah.
Yes.
How does that work when you're like far from home?
It's very, very, very difficult, but it's something that also gives me great strength, and it's my source of power. So yeah, it's bad to be away, but also very, very empowering also.
So what type of genre would you describe the music as?
We start to have, like, since the beginning, we have the death metal influence.
Yeah.
If you see our first album, we have some dark riffs and some blast beats. But our singles were more into thrash. So the people that don't know so much deep can recognize it. So in each album, the death metal influence was growing and growing. And I think our most death metal album, it's Downfall of Mankind, that we released in 2018. And then in Perpetual Chaos, we have a bit the voice, because Diva was singing with the gross and guttural, this kind of techniques that is most in death metal. That's why you can think that it's a bit more death metal. But the riffs in general are more from thrash metal. And now for the new album, we can say that it's more thrash than ever.
I can hear some Motorhead.
Yes.
Wait for it.
Yes.
I love Motorhead.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
You're gonna love our new album.
We do.
I have to say.
Can you describe where that growling or that the technique come from? Your song
Look,
technique.
I didn't have so much time to practice and discover things. I just arrived in the studio, and our producer Martin Furia said like, record, and I say okay, and I start to scream, you know, like, but I have no idea what I was doing exactly. And when I listen the results, and I say, what the fuck, how I did that? And I had no idea. Before I was backing vocals, Nervosa, you know, entire Nervosa life, but I was just screaming low. So the high notes was a bit something new for me that I discovered in the studio. And I have some amazing vocal coach, that is Mayara Portas, the singer of Torture Squad, an important band in Brazil. And she helped me to discover my highs, the medium and highs. my low, it's okay. It's my comfortable zone. Now everything I'm trying, I'm discovering. I cannot say so much.
What do you listen to yourselves and what inspires you in music?
If we go back, like from when everything started, it's like super classic bands like Scorpions, Deep Purple, Rainbow, Led Zeppelin, and then it started to, you know, get a little bit heavier with Metallica, Black Sabbath, and then it went a little bit more extreme, like a band like Nevermore or Arch Enemy, this kind of sound. Yeah, pretty much, and Judas Priest, of course, is a huge influence. Yes, yeah.
Yes. For me, the first band that I listened in my life, it was Led Zeppelin, of course.
Wow.
And then Black Sabbath, and then come Metallica, Slayer, and when I discovered Slayer, and then I started to go very deep, like with Morbid Angel, Possessed, and all of this kind of death metal. And I went more extreme to arrive to the grindcore, like a Napalm Death and bands like that. And then I came back for the thrash, you know, like Exodus, Testament, and all of these bands. But I also love, example, Vader. It's one of my favorite bands. Of course, Sepultura.
Yeah,
It's one of my biggest influence. And from metal, it's basically, this is my base.
Nice.
Well, we all have the same background, but
yeah.
I'm more towards the black metal.
Okay.
And black metal and death metal bands like Butane. And I also, well, yeah, Rotting Christ, of course, we should honor our roots, yes. But also King Diamond and Merciful Fate, that was a defining moment for me.
Understand. Yeah.
The love of my life is Nightwish. Basically, I
Oh,
have nothing
I
in
love
common
Nightwish.
with thrash death metal. I have totally different background, so I love progressive metal stuff like Vola, Lepras, Opeth, for sure. A lot of Finnish and Swedish bands. For example, when I heard Soilwork for the first time,
That's amazing.
Yeah,
my
so-
mind just exploded. So a lot of different things, but not exactly in thrash death scene.
Okay, cool. Nightwish with Tarja is my favorite. It needs to be Tarja.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I just want to go into now shifting to women in metal. So many of you have played in mixed bands.
Yeah.
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 And now you're all in an all-female band. And I wanted to ask you if that's important to you to keep Nervosa as an all-female metal band. And have you experienced any misogyny? Is it called misogyny?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Advantages or disadvantages with being an all-female metal band?
Yeah, I think it's really important we keep as a female band because there's a few bands as a female, and I never thought to put a man in the band because it was something that born as a female band, and for nowadays we have a lot of amazing girls, you know. If I come back to the back time when I started was in 99 example, I never thought to have a female band because I didn't knew female musicians, just few of them. Example, I never met any female drummer before. It's very hard. The first drummer that I met was the drummer that I found with Nervosa, Fernanda Terra. Example. So, but nowadays we have like a new generation. So there's no reason for we put a man. Man has a lot of opportunity in many other bands. So women has like a million times less opportunity. I feel like responsible to keep being like a opportunity for other women, you know. So this is my thought, and I want to keep that way.
Yeah. But have you experienced any like disadvantages with being?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not
How?
that I'm not like in Nervosa, but being a female musician,
Yeah.
a female singer, especially if you're doing extreme vocals, you are like people usually look down at you, like yeah, you can do that, you can play, or oh, you can sing. It's like you see this a lot, and well, you used to see it a lot. Now it's less and less because there are more female musicians, more musicians in the metal genre. So it's more common. So it's okay, but it wasn't that common. So it was very judgmental.
So you had to fight a little bit harder than the guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot.
And it still happen a lot. Example,
Okay.
when we are on stage doing the sound check example,
Yeah.
there's always a guy saying like, look, this is the volume, this is the treble,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is the bass. And I say,
That's
look,
nice.
this is my amplifier. And
Shit.
even if I don't know, I know how to read it. Like, it's right in there. Thank you for your help, but come on.
That's too bad. To
Yes,
hear. I'm
this
sad to
happen
hear that,
often.
actually. Yeah.
For me personally, I was rejected from a band. I don't want to say the band was really it's well known, but because I'm a girl, that I was for the position of the vocalist, growls and stuff. But no, it's good, but you're a girl. We want a guy. So yeah, it's sometimes
Discriminating.
yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
By the way, I have the opposite experience. I mean, at first sight, people always underestimate my skills and stuff, whatever. But like, it doesn't matter whether I'm working with girls or with boys. It's like 10 minutes after we talk or we do work, everything is doing great. So maybe at first sight you have this like
Doubts.
you have this doubt, but it's in a second it can be gone. It's
Because you've proven that you know.
Yeah, but you have to prove it.
Yeah,
Yes,
but in the
always.
beginning,
There's
as
already-
you're entering the room, it's like okay,
have to-
we wait for them to
Yeah.
see. You know, it's not totally. You have to have this kind of space in the beginning that it's not that sure the situation. But
Guys don't
then
have to.
it's
Yeah.
okay.
Then it's okay.
Yeah.
Guys don't have to do that, right? They are just. It's
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is not coming so much from the bands.
No.
There is some like her, like she said, some specific stuff. But what I feel more, it's from the people that work
Yeah.
in the house and the place. You know,
Yeah.
on stage, example, they don't put so much effort to provide us what we need. They say like, they play shit. They're girls, and they do like with very like not in a good way.
No.
And when we start to play and they see that, wow, they're fucking good. Oh, it's nice. Give me your guitar pick. You know, like, and then everything's changed. No, they saw like, wow, you were amazing. Yeah.
Exactly.
But as you said, we have always to prove.
Yeah.
Have like 25 years of experience with this, you know, and then the guys, no, they realize, you know, and they say sorry.
Oh, that's good anyway.
This is good.
Yeah.
So it's something that we have to teach.
Has anything strange, weird, crazy, funny happened to you during your career, on stage or off stage? Some crazy story or something?
I have 1,000, but my memory sucks. So back in time, like many years ago, 9 years ago, we play in a small city in the middle of nowhere in Brazil. And something happened in that day. I don't know how to explain, but in the first second, like the first chord, like dun, I felt almost from the stage, it was 2 meters, so I just kicked my knees in the monitor. The strings of the guitar broke, the strings of the bass broken, all the cymbals fall down, and there was a huge amount of fog that the people were not seeing us. At the same time. We have to... No, the people start to laugh, and we start to laugh, and we say, okay, guys, we have to come back, and we'll come back in 10 minutes. We have to change the strings and prepare and start the show again. Because it was the first second. Something happened there.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was one of the funniest.
Unexplained.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
But
All together.
Yes, all together at the same time. All the symbols felt.
It's karma. You
It's
did
about-
something wrong.
No, we
Why?
No, it's about the
karma.
magic things we were talking
It's the
before.
evil
It was-
eyes.
Ah.
Let's tell
Yes.
us more magic things.
Yeah, it was something else.
If something really bad happened, and then I could say that it's.
Okay.
But it was like funny.
Yeah.
So if we turn it a little bit to ideologies, so who writes the lyrics?
Yeah, for a while me, because it's a new band. The next album, I hope everybody can contribute if they want, of course. We talk a lot about politicians, you know,
Yes,
in
of
general,
course, yes.
like always like judging them in a very bad way. Like doesn't matter. We don't discriminate at any politicians, you know. We are talking about everything they do bad. And of course we talk about like human relationships in general and everything that we suffer day by day, like in many ways, like a friendship, relationship, like betrayer or someone that was guided by evil, trying to harm people, or histories as well. Example, we have one song that we talk about the sacrifice in Viking series that is Blood Eagle.
Yeah.
And it's very random. Example, for Perpetual Chaos, we talk about the pandemic situation. Example, time to fight, for the people not give up, keep strong, you know, like the politicians are sucks, they are killing with us, but we will not give up, we will keep on fighting. There is another important lyric in Nervosa history called Kill the Silence, that is giving power for the woman to talk about all the abuses that they are suffering, you know, mentally, physically, doesn't matter. It's to talk about it and giving some power for the woman, you know, to you are not alone. So this is an important message. So there's a lot of topics that we are, but everything's about more or less reality.
Because I'm thinking you all come from quite religious countries, I mean, with a strong Catholicism and things like that. And I was wondering, how do you look upon religion yourselves?
Greece, for example, is a Christian Orthodox
Yeah.
country. It still is very religious country, and for example, the band the T-shirt you're wearing has had many problems with his name,
Yeah.
Not in Christ.
Yeah.
Even up to like 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah, they have
they
you know,
were
trouble and
allowed to
problems
play.
in our country, in Greece, and they are so much respectful and well accepted in all the rest of the countries. But in Greece,
No.
Just because
where
of
they
the
are
name.
coming from, and they are like almost 30-year-old band,
Yeah.
and they rise the Greek metal scene so much, and they still, I think, like just before the COVID situation, they still have trouble
they
playing
still have trouble. Yeah.
in our country.
Yeah, I was hoping that as we go, like the time passes, that these things will go down, but it looks like we're going steps behind,
No.
and that's unfortunate.
Basically, it's getting worse.
It's getting worse. Yeah.
Yeah, Brazil, it's a multicultural country. We have the most predominant Catholics, of course, but we have a lot of African religions and many kinds of religions. So it's not that extreme. I never heard anything like forbidden a band to play because of religion. I never heard about it. But back in time, some years ago, like 15 years ago, there was a problem with the white metal and black metal. That white metal, like all the metal heads hate so much. Like, you cannot be white metal. And they were like, if you play with the white metal, your band is dead. But now they don't care, basically. They are learned that doesn't matter. Let the people free. You know, if they are not harming you, not doing something bad, let them be free. Talk about what they want to talk. You know, that's it. So the people now, I don't see problem anymore with this.
And you, Michaela, what's your
I have the
experience?
most boring answer. I mean, Bulgaria is an Orthodox country, but we are not that religious, no, and I haven't heard or met any problems about this theme or matter.
Okay.
Very good.
This is great.
That's good. Yeah.
The name means.
But there can be also threats regarding this. I read somewhere that you, Prika, was threatened with a gun.
Mm.
Is that something you want to share as a story?
Yeah.
And why did it happen?
Brazil is a very violent country, unfortunately. I love my country, I love the people there, but it's the difference, again, of the realities, the misery, and there's a lot of poor people and a lot of very rich and millionaires too. So this missing balance, it's giving consequence to us. And even if the guns are forbidden in Brazil, they arrange to have it. And sometimes the traffickants and the people that's doing bad stuff, they have better guns than the police. And Brazil, it's a country that with a huge population. Example, São Paulo, the city that I more or less came from, it's 23 million people in one city. So there's no police enough for the amount of the criminal persons that has. So it's something common. You be like with the guns and they steal something. Example, I was 4 p.m. during the day, just crossing the street with my motorcycle. Like I was stopping in a sign and someone just steal the bank and the guy just wants to run away and I was in front of him. He put the gun in my face and said, give me your motorcycle, I kill you. And I said, okay, take my motorcycle, bye. And of course, 1 week and a half, I could get back my motorcycle. But I have like other histories with the gun in my back, stealing my cell phone, inside of the bus, someone steals stuff
Is
with
this
the guns.
daily life
In big
Paulo?
cities,
Wow.
yes, it's 23 million people, and real example sometimes can be even worse.
I love Endless Ambition, your new single.
Nice.
Is this gonna be your 5th album that's coming out?
But it's an album that we are putting a lot of melodies with the guitars. We have a lot of guitars playing together, like a dual guitar.
Yep.
And amazing solos, like unbelievable solos. We have the drums that she composed that it's amazing with a different influence that I love that she has different influences of us because this can make the music more rich, you know? If everybody's exactly the same, would sound everything the same. I don't know. I like that she has like an influence from black metal too. She can bring some dark song. You know, I love this. Like each of us has a different style. Me and her, we are more close to each other, but she's more classical than me, example. And this is amazing because in the solos she bring a lot of rich things. You know, it's amazing. Like some riffs, like example with Judas Priest influence. That I love it. I love it. So
And I can hear some Motorhead in it also.
yes, and to be honest, I'm super excited for the next album. That we can, everybody can work more and put more the influences even more.
Because this was like a good beginning. It was like a good first connection.
Yes.
We started learning each other and we started exchanging ideas and you know, we were in the process that we were learning each other and connecting with each other and but yeah, definitely in the next it will be things like a more mature and we'll go know exactly how to organize everything and plan everything. But this one was really enjoyable to create the whole album from the beginning till the end.
Yeah, and it's a different setup, like 2 guitarists and and you knew on the vocals. And
I think people really liked the new sound, the 2 guitars. It was a really good feedback from the whole thing. So that's good.
I think I've just put it on loop, you know. So I just it's really, really good.
Half of the album happened in the last minute, you know. It was a huge challenge for her. Like it was amazing and unbelievable how she could deal with.
I got the songs like 10 days before recording.
Yep.
Wow.
And she had to compose and everything basically in the recording time.
So it was like,
Yes.
do it!
But
Yes.
I mean, insisting that in Malaga, in studio, like something good happened.
Yes, that
Some
place
good
has
magic
something.
in there.
Yes, that place has
That
something
place-
special.
You went to Malaga?
Yes,
Yeah,
again.
and that place has something, I don't
Magic.
know.
Yeah.
It has something
But it
magic,
looks
yes.
scary when it's dark. I mean, I couldn't sleep for 1 week because the place was looked extremely
She
scary.
thought it was haunted or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't felt
But
it.
it
I
was
just
good.
I just watched a lot of horror movies and it has the same.
Yeah, me too.
I never looked at the house in that way, but after she said, I say, yeah, it can be a house for
I mean,
horror
we
movies
named
easy.
we
Yeah.
named the rooms. There was the Chopin room because it has like this weird portrait on the wall of
And the
Chopin
piano,
and an old
untuned
piano.
old piano.
And we had
Untuned.
and we had the Exorcist room.
Wow.
It
with
was
The
like-
room that was exactly
It
with
was
the
like
exorcist.
like you see Rosemary's Baby.
Yes,
exactly the same.
Yeah,
Oh my
I mean
was
it
true.
looks good for 1 hour, but if
Yeah.
you have to sleep there 1 week, you're screwed.
It's
They make me to remove a mirror
Yeah.
in the corridor.
Yeah, yeah.
a scary mirror.
No, it was just a mirror, but it was reflecting you from the back, and you could
No,
see
the
There's
corridor-
a
They
lot
were
of imagination
calling
here.
Yes, they were calling me during the night like, Prika, can you turn on the lights for me to pass
I
it
made
through
her
She was
like,
calling
sleep,
for
in my room because I couldn't sleep and I needed to sleep because the next day we had to work and I said, Prika, please
The
can you
process was
sleep
fun.
in my room?
the final result is really good. The process
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
really fun,
So
and we
everything
can't
helped.
wait for the audience
So the
reaction.
ghosts were good.
The
ghosts
ghosts
The ghosts were good, they were
Yeah.
helping, they were not bad.
Thank
Let
you,
them
Mal-
there.
Can
Thank
be
you, Malaga
Chopin's
Ghost.
ghost
Thank you,
coming. Yes.
Okay, so ladies, you have one final words to the viewers. What would you like to say to them?
Thanks so much for everything. Keeping support metal. Don't stay so much crazy. Don't kill people. You talk about it, you watch a movie, but don't do it. Otherwise, we will lost your freedom.
Keep your mind free. And check out the album.
Yes, of course.
Of course, go for it.
Take your Evo and buy the CDs.
and have fun. The most important thing.
Yeah.
Stay healthy
Have
and
fun.
have fun. That's the coolest thing.
That's a little unicorn here.
Oh.